Subfamily.
All right, well, obviously, I'm Keith Stickney from Tsunami Cables.
John Moody from GHS Strings.
Yep.
Tony Puleo, bass player, artist.
Yep.
Steve Araujo, bassist, and I have the bass hang
Awesome.
thing.
Cool. Well, so the main reason why we're kind of all doing this is we have the bass hang, Tsunami bass hang tomorrow, which is killer, and you guys are playing it. Everybody's hanging out and having a good time, and so we kind of decided to do this crazy round table get together and talk about artists and the manufacturing side of things and endorsements and all that good stuff, since that's probably the thing that we all deal with probably the most.
Yes.
Is that. So let's see, where do we want to start, guys? Endorsements? How do we want to start with that? What's your
He's
guys'
looking
take?
at me. I've got a heavy statement on this, but I'll wait.
I think that it's very interesting because obviously Keith, with having Tsunami Cables,
Right.
you know, you get people asking for stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
How
Well,
do
I'm
you-
sure.
and GHS,
Sure,
too.
yeah,
Oh,
GHS
yeah.
all the time.
All the time.
Absolutely,
So-
yeah. Well, and I think also, too, I mean, probably even more so on your guys' end, because strings just being physically like a smaller item.
Right.
I think people just think like, oh, it's small, it's cheap, so
Yeah.
I can get, it's costs
Yeah.
you nothing to
But
give
in
me
reality-
10 packs of them or whatever.
A string
You know what I
endorsement, from what I've seen, is actually the hardest deal to get.
Okay.
People can throw guitars at you,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
easy. A guitar endorsement, what people think is the hardest, is really, from my perspective, the easiest. Amps are somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Pedals go up and down because some of the builders are like very esoteric and they're like, no, and then the guys are like, here,
They do it just like that.
They
like,
throw them out.
They do.
And that's like their whole supply, is that?
Right.
Like,
No.
They don't do this anymore, they do this.
You've got, no, you can't have
That's
these.
the cool thing to do.
you gotta be careful.
Right.
We're close to LA. You start doing things
Be
like
careful.
this,
Don't
you,
do
you
anything
can
with
get
your
shot.
hands.
You
I've
gotta
been
be
on this
careful.
the international porting system. Like,
Sit on your hands.
these are mine.
Put the
I'm
hands
Italian,
down.
I don't.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Put it in a straight
Yeah.
jacket.
I think it's one of those things like, running the bass hang, I do demos, blah blah blah, whatever.
Right.
I really try not to assume that it's not going to be free. Like,
Right.
Right.
I've written some emails just in the last couple of days and like, hey, I'm interested in doing something. I want to pay. I'm not asking for a freebie.
Right.
Yep.
Fortunately, sometimes it's like, okay, we help each other. Like, God, I'm thankful for that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is the way people make their living. This
Right.
is like,
Right.
you can take, especially if you're looking at smaller builders, like bass builders, smaller
Right.
builders.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
seldom are they really ahead of the game. They're just like any of us. They're hustling. They're
Right.
building, and for people to assume that I'm going to just give you an instrument, it's like, no, they have to pay bills too.
Where's the
you
return
know?
of value?
Where's
Right,
the
yeah,
the ROI or whatever?
Yeah.
But just how am I going to pay my mortgage or my rent? That's the
Absolutely.
thing. So I don't know. I think that's a huge weird thing. Just assuming that you're going to get stuff for free.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is
Well, and to me, and I
It's
think
not
John,
the 80s,
I think
yeah.
John's, exactly. It's not the 80s, but I think John can probably, agree with this. Is to me, it's so much more about the relationship.
Oh yeah.
You know
Totally.
what I mean? Like, it's so much more about, like, obviously, us being able to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I would much rather have a guy that I can go have a drink with or have coffee with or whatever, sit down and chill, relax and chill and hang with, than some guy who's like, oh, well, I'm playing arenas and I'm going to show your shit to everybody and, but give me all of it for free.
Right.
Kind of thing. I'd rather
You know,
have a guy.
Kerry Nordstrom made a key statement the other day about that. And I talked about like, hey, Halford's the hang, and then he just looked down and went up. He goes, probably a lot more than that.
it's a lot more.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
And that's from
Absolutely.
Kerry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So, John, you want to weigh in on any of that as well?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's so much about the relationship on it because for a couple of reasons. I mean, a lot of people don't realize the endorsement thing, it is that business relationship of I give you something for a discount or for free, and what you are doing back to me is you're going to promote it, on your social media things. You're going to give me content that I can use myself
Right.
and things like that. And, you've got to be able to work together on that stuff.
Right.
With that, but then also I find, especially when you have it more as a relationship thing, it's easier to find the people that you need there that will do it, because there's just it's easy with Tony And I'm only saying it because you're here. Otherwise, I'd badmouth you. But no.
Plug your ears.
No, honestly, Tony and I talk, fairly regularly, but he always leads it after we do our usual pleasantries with, what can I do for GHS?
Right. Yeah.
How can I provide you with some more value?
Yep.
Things like that, And, so anything I ask, and I'm not lying,
He's done that for the bass hand. I'm like,
me as well.
Dude,
yep. Exactly.
Right.
Awesome.
But it's one of those, you find those type of people, it's much easier then to find that, because that's how, and Tony and I talked about this too, is it's very important with your endorsements too, that you realize that the people that are going to be representing you will also represent the company. And if you've got some people that really don't, just do some things that are not in line with what you feel, you should be doing, the fact is they're still representing your company on those kind of things.
They're a mirror of you outside to fans, listeners, and fellow musicians.
Exactly.
The company that you keep. Your friends, the people that are around you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure, obviously we're talking
Your saxophone.
Quite a bit different with GHS in comparison to Tsunami, being GHS is a lot larger. But for me, it's like, and I'm sure you can also kind of agree with this as well, is that like you guys can sell, for me, you can sell way more cables than I can sell cables. Because for me, it's just, I'm just some dude pitching my product, trying to make a dime, where you guys are going, no, this shit works, and this is why I have X amount of shows on it, or whatever, and blah, 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 blah. So it's a little bit easier. There's no gain necessarily financially for you guys on our end. So, in that sense, I think that that's definitely the relationship that needs to be fostered. But at the same time, I think people don't get that. They think that, or they think it's over with. Once you've got it, then cool, I don't do anything more. Like, I got my cables, I got the endorsement, I'm on the website, I got my strings, I'm on the website, I'm on the list. Now I don't have to talk to him again until I see him at NAMM and say hi, take some pictures, and then see you in 6 months or whatever. Until I need more shit.
Okay, why are you using this?
Yeah.
Where's the why? Motherfucker. Seriously.
Well, and coming, it has to, like we were talking earlier, and probably all of us, is just, it has to work in a working standpoint. We're working, we are gigging, we gig.
Right.
This is how we make our money.
Right.
If we show up with cables that are all shoddy and crappy, or gear, that's not good. This is what you do for your livelihood. Like, come on, raise the standards a little bit.
Right.
Get some stuff that really works, that sounds good. So, I don't know. And again, you said with the artist, it's like feeding that machine. That machine has to keep getting fed, man. And with social media, that's such a huge marketing tool now. Like, that's marketing. That is marketing. It's crazy.
And we've last year I revamped the entire artist contract to capitalize more on that of just saying, hey, this is what we expect from you. And I feel it's very, very minimal too. It's like, we want at least like one social media post a month tagging us. One a month. That's nothing.
Yeah. That is nothing.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like, boom.
That too. Yeah. Exactly.
But it's one of those things too. Those guys don't realize. The people that really are the ones that I will do more for are the people that do that regularly. It's like you've got somebody that's doing like weekly posts for us, which again, that's seconds. And it's one of those too. It's like when I because I have endorsements also. When I take a picture, I tag all of them. Look, you tagged everybody in one picture. How is that not the way to do it?
Right, yeah.
If you're using a computer, it's really simple. Have a little notepad file with hashtag with everybody you use.
Yeah.
Or
there it is.
Or if you're using this, get a little notepad, cut and paste, copy and paste, boom, and there you go.
Absolutely. Right.
But the funny thing is, and even with the bass hang, like, I've had people approach me to do stuff, and they say they're going to do this and that, and then they don't, and it's like, it's almost like one of those things that it seems easy, but it's not.
Right.
You have to just do it, and then once you do it a few times, then it's pretty easy, but you get, it's habit, or you get kind of, people get a little freaked out, and a little intimidated maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a weird thing. It's like, for us it's simple.
Well, I think some of it too, I've had a couple artists say that they feel like they're selling out. And I'm like, I get that, but at the same point...
Well, you sold out when you asked for the endorsement.
Isn't it kind of like a point with it? You're here to help sell a product?
Right.
The second you ask for something free, you sell out. Like,
exactly.
come on. You're selling out even before you're saying it. Like, you're to the man. Like,
Right.
If
Right.
you weren't, then don't ask for anything and just do your
Right.
thing the
And
way you're gonna
that's
do.
why it should be a product that you love.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have to fucking
You have to-
love
yeah.
it.
It's
You have
got to
to-
be one that you would use regardless.
all the time.
Yeah.
So,
No, yeah, 100%. I think that's. I mean, you guys are all hitting killer points. So maybe we should let's chat about getting endorsements. We kind of talked about like the premise of endorsements and the
Don't
idea
light
behind
the
it.
fire into my bum.
Yeah.
maybe you should put your hands back there.
I can't do it unless Steve's doing it.
Oh
no.
Here we go.
So
on.
I know I'm going to PO some people, and I've actually told all you guys the same statement.
I'm very
Hold on.
ready.
Okay, right?
I'm angry
Here we go,
already.
say that.
Man,
I
all right.
might
All
piss
right.
off some
Captain.
friends or some fans or whatever, but I think I've had people come to me over the years and ask, "How did you do this? How did you get this?"
Right.
Yep.
How did you? And I used to be like, "Oh," I always felt a little uncomfortable, and some people I've helped out, but now, and I've got some people that have come to me, and I say, don't take offense to this, but if you have to ask how to get product X, you are not ready to endorse product X.
Mm-hmm.
Not one single person has helped me.
Gotcha.
And I'm not saying, no one helped me, so you should do. It's you need to learn that ride yourself.
Right.
You need to know how to get there. You need to be able to sell yourself enough to get there, to do it, to earn it.
Right.
Yep.
And if you haven't earned it, you don't deserve it.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think that I think on the flip side of that, though, I think, too, there's a decent amount of education that can go out there as well to help people.
Yeah.
Because I think, too, to a certain extent, I'm sure, you can contest this as well, whenever you get somebody that doesn't have any endorsements,
Right.
they don't know what the hell they're doing,
Yeah.
and they come to you and they're like, I really love your product, how can I do something, whenever someone's coming to me at least and is like, I don't know how to do the endorsement thing, but
Right.
I love your product, I'm not looking for anything free, I want to pay for it, I want a relationship, I know I'm more apt to help that person.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. That approach is way better
absolutely. Yeah,
than-
that's
Yeah.
the
I
approach
might be
to
a little
have.
old school and heavy, but
No, but I get it.
No.
I get it though, but I mean,
Yeah.
but you also, I think too, you also are a seasoned musician who have been doing this for a lot of years.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people, a lot of kids that are coming up that don't know this thing. You know what I mean? Like we all get the
etiquette. They don't know the etiquette.
Yeah,
So-
the etiquette
Yeah.
part of it. And there's not
the
the
younger
education
guys, I
to
always
that.
say, hey, put out some product, stand behind
Right.
it, get it up.
Right.
But there are, believe it or not, seasoned people
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that have come to me.
Oh, yeah.
People that that are known, people who work at some prominent music schools that have actually come to me,
Right.
and I'm like, this is not a cocky thing, but
Yeah.
it's straight dope, and it's like, man, you got to work harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
No,
gotta fucking
absolutely.
work harder.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think too, people don't realize that it is work. They're thinking that
Right.
well, I worked to learn my craft, learn my instrument, and now I've achieved, especially someone in that position, I've already achieved this level of success. That level of success should come with X, Y, and Z.
Perks.
Yeah, the perks, right, of
Yeah.
that level,
Yeah.
but don't realize
The perks are
that.
you get paid.
Yeah.
I mean that's
Well,
Perks are that you actually make a living.
Yeah,
Right,
You're not
music.
flipping
But-
burgers.
but
yeah.
But you have to
You're
have.
playing.
I mean, you're working, so you've done this, and it is nice to actually have companies that back you up.
Oh, yeah.
That's very. It's
a
comforting.
complete
It's very
two-way
cool.
street.
Like
It's
it's
a
just
two-way
cool.
street.
It's a two-way street. Yeah, but it's a tough one. But the approach, man, it's like if you go in expecting to pay nothing,
Yeah.
that's the bad approach.
Well,
it's like,
I've
that's
said this a
horrible.
bunch too because it's a personal pet peeve of mine. If you are contacting me through Facebook Messenger asking how to get an endorsement,
Yeah.
you didn't take the 5 minutes to go on our website and find our
Yeah.
artist relations page that outlines the criteria.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Or I mean,
due diligence.
Yeah,
do a
yeah,
little,
yeah,
come
absolutely.
on.
I mean, yeah, like for us, even I've done multiple videos on
Yeah.
how to do it, like what to
Right.
do, how to do it. There's there's a PDF file on our
Yeah.
website. You
Yeah.
fill it
There's
out,
an
hit
easy
submit.
download.
Like
Yeah,
it's like so we
exactly.
try to make it as easy as possible for a lot of people, and you're right,
Which
it
wasn't
just,
the case years ago.
No, you're
Right.
absolutely right.
You
yeah.
had to
that's
work
true.
your way,
Yeah.
show your worth, show this is what you're doing.
Right.
Like this is how you're earning your bread, and that you are valued to that company.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I have a question. How much do you think? And I think I kind of know the answer, but how much do you think social media being such a huge thing has changed this avenue.
Well, I think at least from my perspective, it gave me somebody that was just a theater musician,
Sure.
gigging a lot in Southwest Michigan. So really, in the grand scheme of the traditional endorsements, there'd be no way.
Sure.
But because of social media, because I talked to a lot of people that way, that gave me the in.
Cool.
You know, so I actually had a Warwick endorsement for a while.
Nice.
Because of that.
Yeah.
You know, and
People see eyes on you and
Right.
see what you're doing.
and it wasn't the traditional
Sure.
way of doing it. It was just kind of, hey, this guy may not, do all these gigs that are high visibility, but his social media numbers are very good,
Yeah.
and he's talking about the product in a way
Right.
that
Ways to be seen.
yeah,
The visibility.
Right.
exactly.
I mean, visibility that you're.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I mean, like we've all talked to, it used to be back in the day where it's like, well, how many shows do you do a year? You know what I mean, what tours are you on?
Yeah.
How long? Are you just through the United States? Are you going international? Where are you going to get those eyes on?
Right.
Now it's
We
more.
should be like record sales.
Yeah, or that
right?
too. Yeah.
But now it's
exactly.
how many
back.
Instagram follows do you have?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is now. Is it's
So-
like, okay, so what's your social media presence? How many Instagram followers do you have?
Yep.
What do you have on Twitter? What do you have on YouTube? What do you have on Facebook?
Yeah.
And where is that at? And and obviously, there's you can buy followers or whatever, but still, you know what I mean? Like
That's
having
It
that.
is.
What's that?
That's a strange thing.
That is
Yeah.
a strange one.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's-
But people do it, and but still, having that and being able to see, and I know John does, I do too. When someone comes on and to me and says, hey, this is what I want as an endorsement, or this is what I'm looking for,
Right.
and the first thing I'm doing is pulling up my phone and going, cool, Instagram. Who are they doing?
Yeah, right.
What do they
You know
do?
what's
Search
funny is
them
I heard
and look them up.
other things about that. I can't remember the name of the pedal company because there's so many little pedal companies
Right.
now.
Right, yeah,
Oh,
And
yeah.
people want to get on them. And I can't even remember. I think they're more of an overdrive guitar company. But I just heard them saying on YouTube, hey, the first thing when someone asks for me and they send me an email looking for something, and I go to their media page, and it's them just drinking, flipping the bird in every other picture. You know what I mean?
That's Dennis from Protone. Because I remember that same thing. Because he's
Is that who that is?
Yeah, I believe he said, and I think it was this exact wording. He said, "If you don't give a fuck about your audience, why should I give a fuck about you?"
Nice.
You know,
That's a great statement.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a great
Absolutely.
statement.
And I've used that same. I mean, I've watered that down a little bit.
Yeah,
about it.
depending
But
on-
it is that thing. It's like if you do not care about building your audience and your reach
Right.
and interacting with the people who are keeping you, in that musician lifestyle because they're the ones supporting you, going to the shows and stuff. Why should a marketing company or an instrument company care about you then? Because if you're not.
Yeah, be careful what you put out there. And
Right.
like the people get with their personal stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay to get
Yeah.
a little personal, but
Yeah.
you know.
And you got to be careful. Well, that's like, well, I know that not even in music, but if you go in the business world and you go to a place and you give a resume, I mean, guaranteed the second that person's leaving, you're going Google.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's check it out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and you see again the drink,
Just Google.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have to be. I don't know. You got to have some sense of decorum. Like, come on, like,
Right.
Right.
I don't know. It's yeah. You can't
Don't
be.
say, I'm
You can't
fighting
be.
with my husband. I'm
you
fighting
can't-
with my
yeah.
wife. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They
You
were-
can't be
Yeah.
Sid Vicious and go,
You
dude,
know
give
what?
me a bass.
You're not gonna
Like,
sell.
you-
You're not gonna sell
Yeah.
product out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and again,
So-
I think it all comes down to is what's the overall goal, right? And at the same time, if the goal is that you're going to be a professional musician, you need to be professional.
Yeah.
Not just have the chops and the ability, but you have to be professional. And
That's an oxymoron.
it is.
I
but-
mispronounce that. Oxymoron.
There it is.
Speaking of that,
So-
it's an oxymoron.
Yeah, it is. But
It is.
I think that's
Yeah.
part of it though. Is in on the being a professional side of things, is also how you handle the companies, your endorsements, and how you present yourself.
True.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that I absolutely agree with you. You look on anybody's Facebook page or Instagram or whatever, you
Yep.
see a bunch of either political or whatever, and whichever line or wherever you decide to go to,
Mhm.
it's not something that a company wants to sign on for.
Right.
Because they're going, okay, well, you're playing that line, but there's also the other line.
Right, right.
Directly
There's
beside it.
volatility,
Yeah,
and it's
there's
like weird, like-
and so you have to look at that and go, okay, well, what can we, is that, and I'm sure, I'm not trying to speak for you, John, or GHS. But
How
it's-
dare you?
That's where I draw the line.
For me, yeah, right.
That's
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Line in the sand.
Yeah, exactly. Right here, right between us. But for me, it is. It's like, do I want to even deal with that?
No, there is. There's been many times where I've said, just even with introductory emails and things that if it's very hard to contact them with stuff like that, it will be. If I'm having a hard enough time just getting information to consider you for an endorsement,
Right.
how is this going to be if I give it to you and I need you to, post some pictures or things like that?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very much so.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of, and you guys can chime on this too, but I think there should be like a basic sense of what you should have prepared, right? So as an artist coming in looking for endorsements, you should have a bio.
Oh yeah.
You should have, some decent photos of yourself.
Yeah.
You should have your, if you currently already own the product that you're trying to get endorsed by, have some photos of you with that product.
Helps
Yeah.
a lot.
It
more,
helps. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, and what we were talking about
And
with
recordings.
with
Definitely have
microphones.
some recordings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Available. This is who I worked with. This is my. I guess that's the bio. There's our resume,
Right.
but
Yeah.
there's a personal bio, and I think there's a resume. But maybe I'm splitting hairs. But
No,
I look
I
at
get
it
you.
two different things, and then
Yeah.
having audio samples of everything. Maybe I'm getting too much into the EPK stuff, but
No,
Yeah,
but that's
but
good.
I mean,
But that's
our business.
But
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
that's more of what would you say, nomenclature? Because for me in my brain, I always looked at his bio as being performance and a resume being professional.
Right.
Even though you're professional, it's almost the same thing. It just depends on what your business is, right? I don't know.
For me,
That's-
I break it up
but-
in my EPK.
Which is true because,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, you have a business side also. I don't know.
But no, I think you guys should go into this though because I think it's good. It's definitely good knowledge for like I
Right.
said, for people that are
So
starting
my
out.
background is bio,
Yeah.
and then my artist and resume is like a little separate thing.
Got it.
you
Okay.
know?
Uh-huh.
So obviously the bio is more you're saying is personal stuff or more of your playing.
Personal playing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's personal
Okay.
play.
Personal,
You know,
okay.
hey, this is what I did. This is where I studied.
It's a musician's resume.
A musician's resume.
But
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
All
Cool.
right.
So to speak. And then there's a resume listing of the artist.
Yes.
Especially if you like, if you're a mercenary type of person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You did
Yeah.
a bunch of things.
You're
That's a
utility
nicer
guy.
way that I do. I usually say
Cool.
we're music whores.
Yeah.
But
Which,
I mean,
yes.
mercenary's better, but
Yeah. I don't know how much better, but it's a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe in the next
the
run.
whores get nicer shoes.
Do they? Oh wait, sorry.
Bigger heels.
Hey,
Bigger heels,
my
yeah.
calves are awesome for those heels. So thank you.
I
very much.
need that.
Oh, he was
I gotta
showing
work
them off
on it.
the
Yeah.
other day.
Do they have goldfish in them?
I mean, that's if you're on the big tours.
Ah,
Tours.
nice.
Can you get
Yes.
Fish.
I love it. I love it.
If I don't
But
get
it's-
boots soon, I'm going to show my leg more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was the line.
Yeah.
That's so funny. It's almost like the endorser. It's almost like that word should be looked at as support
Right.
Yeah.
on both ways. Like,
Yeah.
I endorse this product. I support this product. This company endorses me. They support me. Like it's
Right.
almost
Right.
it. That's the way it should be.
You
Like it
should be prepared to tell why, too.
Yeah.
I always
Oh,
say,
totally.
why? Use
Yeah.
the product, but why?
Yeah.
Well,
Well-
they gave it to me. No. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
well, that's great, but that's not what I asked.
Well, why?
Yeah.
It's because it's good. Like Pete Montesi from A Designs is man from day one. Man, it's been amazing. He's been supportive and everything, and I use his stuff because it's effing
Yeah.
killing.
Right.
It is so good.
I dropped some F-bombs.
There you
and then
go.
Steve's over here just saying F it.
Yeah.
I-
Like a couple
too.
It's fucking killer.
Thank you.
The
You're
shit
welcome.
is fucking killer. No, it
Yeah.
really
No, I
is.
mean,
It's really
it's
so.
I use
Right.
it every time I
Yeah.
record.
So it's one of those
Every
things.
single time.
But if it didn't, and speaking of, so from the base hang, I've had a couple of incidences with some manufacturers where they send me stuff, and I don't do negative review. I don't do that.
Right.
If I do something, let's say, okay, so for example, the Yamaha BB Billy Sheehan,
Yeah.
killer bass, it's awesome, sounds great in everybody's hands. I cannot make it sound good. But I did a thing with it, and it was like, man, this thing's cool for other people.
Right.
It just doesn't resonate with me.
Right.
So I've had companies send me stuff where I was like, man, I just can't. I don't know if I can do something like this. And it's been
Right.
great. And they're like, you know what? Totally cool. Send it back. I'm like, man, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't do anything negative. And then there's been one situation where it got really dicey, and I stayed out of it. But it is what it is. But it has to work for you. It has to. But it has to work for you. You know.
Yeah.
And you have to be. You
I'm
can't
just gonna
just.
be honest.
Right.
But you can't just do it to get the free gear and like I got the free gear. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
well, no, it has to still work and
Right.
be viable.
I mean, you've
for
got to
your
want to
situation.
play that. game.
Yeah.
And
So
be careful with free gear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so I've received some instruments for free.
Right.
And honestly, I'm going to just say it. I regret it. I regret it. Except for, like, dealing with the main company that I did with was Michael L. Custom Guitars.
Yep.
Like, but you know, I'm kind of like, okay, well, I can look at some import stuff, and you know, this is maybe a little bit different, and maybe try around. No, you're doing something for free. You better be committed to what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
better
I
be
had. I
committed.
think the only free one I got was I had an endorsement with Wilcox Guitars, and I got 2 basses out of that for a full year commitment. But they outlined everything that was required, and it was a lot.
And that's good, actually.
Oh, I loved it because
like
it was a
expectations.
checklist at that point.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So
it's
I
not
start-
ambiguous.
Right.
You know exactly
it's like
what
you need
to
to
do.
provide this, and this, and I
Yeah.
mean, part of it was like you had to give them a couple video demos of
Cool.
various legs. So actually, what happened was I had it in the time where I was going to be out in California anyway. I said, hey, why don't I just stop by the office? We'll kick this out for you. You'll already have it. You won't even have to get it from me. And they're like, that sounds great. Sure. So
It takes a lot of the work out of your hands, and
Yeah.
they just do it. That's cool.
we had a killer day,
And you liked it. You
Oh,
liked
yeah.
the gear. That's the
that-
thing. It
yeah,
worked
I mean,
for you.
yeah,
So,
that's one.
there you go.
I've said it publicly. I've said it
Yeah.
in reviews that I think it's probably the best fretless I've ever played in my
Wow.
life.
Nice. That's interesting.
That's
Cool.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a statement.
It is.
Yeah.
And use the word best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I hate using that word, because
I
as soon
know.
as somebody says it's the
I
best, I'm
know.
just like, yeah, no.
Because it's so subjective. I mean,
Right.
all this is
That's what
subjective.
Jocko
really,
used to
but-
say. This is the best. That's the best. This
Right.
is the best. And it's,
Well, he was the best. Sorry. Again, subjective.
See, I'm going to be with
So
Tony
you-
on that, though,
Yeah.
and we've talked about that.
Yeah. So.
right. It's like the Gen X. Everyone's like, Jocko.
Yeah. I just like this feel and groove, man. His pocket was like,
Yeah.
so good. That Hellborg's badass too. I love that guy. It's all subjective, man. They're all great.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like my personal thing.
Okay, so on that note, obviously Jocko had his. I mean, he was just hurting, and at the end of towards the end of his life, man. I mean, he could barely get a gig and stuff like that. I
Right.
mean, somebody like that literally was the best bass player in the world, played with everybody. I mean, for him to get an endorsement, there would be no way, just because of volatility. Like,
Right.
he's just
Yeah.
he's a liability to a company.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, don't do that. Even though, I mean,
I think in the
who knows?
very end, like Guild Harkey was trying to take care of him a little
Which
bit.
would
Right.
be great, but obviously the care. But I'm just saying, like that. Again, the Sid Vicious. Like, you don't want Sid
Right.
Vicious,
Right.
pinning your stuff because,
Well, and
like,
I mean,
dude, you're gonna.
along
I don't
that
know,
line
it's-
too, the same thing is, like what Keith said originally, when somebody reached out an endorsement, first thing you do, grab your phone, start looking up for them. If we
Cool.
see,
Yeah.
on your thing that you've got a long list of endorsements, like past and present, it's kind of one of those things. It's going to be like, look, because I would like to have somebody for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
I just hung out with.
If you're gonna have this investment,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an investment.
One of my one of the artists I hung out with yesterday, Jeff George from We Are Harlot,
Mhm.
his favorite story is the fact that he's 35 now. He got signed when he was 16.
Wow.
To GHS.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of
Man, that's
stories
cool.
I want to hear later
Wow.
on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kind
That's
of
awesome.
thing. So it's none of this thing of like, okay, I'm going to sign this person.
Sure.
Yeah, this will be a good year. It's like,
like-
no, I'm looking
yeah.
I'm looking at a very long term thing.
Yeah,
So to
yeah.
see somebody that's like, oh, in the past 5 years, you've jumped from 3 string companies and
You're
2
just looking for
different
free
acts.
shit.
And I,
Yeah.
You're
I-
just looking for
I
free
made
stuff.
that mistake.
Mhm.
I made that mistake. I worked with 3 string companies. And I don't even name them, but one was a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
One wasn't the ideal working situation. The other one was a better working situation, but then I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. That they didn't work out because
Yeah.
the strings didn't really work out for me.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I had to make a real okay, I made a mistake. I admit it. This
Yeah.
was wrong of me. And
And
then
you-
I did research.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then when you and I first started everything, you explained that all up front. Which
I did.
yeah,
Yeah.
to just kind of be straight on the level and everything, and that was impressive.
Yeah.
And it wasn't an email to the last company either.
Right.
I made a phone call to that individual who's
Yep.
prominent in the bass industry
Yep.
and said, hey,
Yeah.
this is why. This is all honesty.
Yep.
And it might even be, partially technique issues for myself.
Right.
Right?
It just didn't work for you.
Yeah,
That's
it didn't
That's
work.
it,
and
man.
because
I mean,
they sound great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Other
They sound
people.
good, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to make the right choice. So
Yeah.
that's why I was like, be careful.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Just because they're your friends, because this last person was someone I was
Right.
I would consider friendly with.
Yeah. Yep.
And you can't just be that. It has
No.
to be everything.
Well,
All T's crossed, all I's.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Yep.
And that goes into the next thing too. Of in my mindset, of the industry is so small. Like people
Oh,
don't
God.
realize that
man.
how small.
Everybody knows each other.
Exactly.
Like-
And it was really crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. And I was laughing about it actually with Dave Watson, the guy I brought over to, as we were driving back.
Carries.
Because one of the guys, the guy that Carrie was, I'm not going to say names, but the guy that Carrie was working with, Dave, that was actually Dave's manager at Sewer Guitars.
Oh my god.
And so he was like, whenever he saw him, he was like, oh, like, and kind of freaked out a little bit about it. And we were talking afterwards, and we'll talk more about that off camera. But I was telling him, I was telling him, because I was like, yeah, dude, the industry is so small. Well, I bet you anything, I could go to NAMM, and if there's not somebody that I don't know personally, there's one person between us.
Oh, it's 1
Yeah,
degree
oh, yeah.
separation
1
for
degree
everybody.
from
Yeah.
everybody.
It's-
And I said, just because of the way the industry is, it's so small. And so on the flip side of that, as an artist, you got to remember that, because if you hose a company, you're gonna hear it on the back.
It just
end
goes with
somewhere.
everything. You can't hose
Yeah.
another person either.
Right.
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? Like, you gotta be cool. Like, if you're gonna say something like, hey, this guy was this,
Right.
you better be able to stick by those words in
Back
front
it
of
up.
that person,
Right, yeah,
and in
back
front
it
of a group of those people.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you have the honesty string like I do,
Right.
Yeah.
I'll say yes.
Yeah.
You know, you better be.
Well,
You
yeah, and
better
I
be
mean,
cool.
I've been trying to even just life thing in general is just I wouldn't say something to Keith that I wouldn't say to your face. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a good.
That's the
rule.
way to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
The way to be.
100%. And
But-
that goes with treating like the companies too. The
Oh,
same
yeah,
way, you know?
absolutely.
And also too on the flip side, how the companies treat the artist as well. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, we've all dealt with artists that are like, oh, well, I'm not using this.
Well, I still remember. I'll
Yeah,
be as general as I
yeah.
can on this, but you
Okay.
know exactly what I'm talking about. Was we're
This ought to be good.
GHS was putting on something. We were doing some sponsored events. We got Keith involved as one of the sponsors, and it was an easy one because I just called up Keith. Keith, you want to sponsor this? Like, yeah. What do you need? This. Cool. Like really done. But then when I sent him the poster of the people who are playing, he's like, "Hey, FYI on this guy."
Yeah, exactly, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time because
Right.
I mean, there's guys all the time where, like we said, whenever someone sends me something, and the first thing I do is look them up, and they say if on their artist list is GHS strings, my next move is I either text or I'm calling John saying,
Right.
who
Who's
is
this
this guy
dude?
Yeah.
and how is he, kind of thing.
Right.
And so and I'm not gonna get the BS from him, so he's gonna say, yeah, he's a good dude,
Yep.
this, that, and that, or stay the hell away from this guy,
Right.
or whatever.
Like, do you
And-
vouch for this guy? Do you
Yeah,
vouch for him?
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Mafia
mean
thing.
that's
Looking
another
at you.
thing too, man.
I'm telling you.
Vouching means a lot.
Dude,
Everything,
man.
Everything.
Yeah,
So
so
be
if you're gonna,
cool.
if you're gonna name drop somebody, you
Yep.
best be ready that they're gonna probably call that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because one person in here probably knows them. And you're like,
Right.
wait, do you know them?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me text them real quick.
Yeah.
Like, who's
Describe
this
it as
person?
like the. I mean, maybe this is not a derogatory thing, but B-list bass players.
I know.
Fucking all know them. We all like the old list
Right.
of working guys
Yeah.
via the web and NAMM and via all the different companies. Everybody just, if you don't know them, your friend knows them.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
it. That's
Yeah.
it.
100%.
I usually call those artists that we have, I call them more the blue collar artists, the ones that are just in the trenches working regularly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Beating it up.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Absolutely. And honestly, for me, those are the guys that.
Those are the ones I want.
Yeah,
Bread
me
and butter,
too.
man.
Those are the guys that
Seriously.
they do the most for me.
Yeah.
By far. You know what I mean? Is those guys.
And they're probably
so-
great players because we're out there playing all the time.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
you kidding me? That's where you're going to be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Gigging,
Right.
and getting to the next level or doing whatever. So,
Right.
We're
yeah.
not doing the same 25 songs for 9 months in a row.
Right.
Right. Absolutely.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
No,
Right.
I mean, it's
No,
totally
but-
cool.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong
Hey,
with
work
it.
is
It's
work.
great.
Again,
Work
it's,
is work,
it's if you're making a living doing what you love,
Right.
you're pretty lucky,
Yeah,
or even what
absolutely.
you kind of like, oh, okay, I don't know. I think it's fortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're kind of wrapping this up a little bit, but anything
Yeah.
else we can?
Yeah,
think of?
Keith, I need like 17 sets of cables,
Shit,
so
yeah.
is that cool
Yeah.
for you? That'll be, and a lot of
Right.
strings,
That's
too.
right, yeah.
That'll be,
Absolutely.
just kidding.
I have all that stuff. I need flan.
Yeah.
Fun!
Fun!
We
There
were
you
told
go.
there would be a long.
Nice,
we just
yes,
told, yeah.
exactly.
Actually, no. Before we go on, let's real quick. Let's figure out let's tell some stories of how we all hooked up and how we
Yeah.
all
Oh
got
my
together.
goodness.
I think that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Because it is fairly incestuous, and
Right.
and I think
is.
people
Well,
knowing that I think
yeah.
is always a good thing.
Right.
So
Right.
where do we
Here, I'll
want to
start off on
Okay.
this. Mine actually started because of I met you through one of your artists,
Yep.
a mutual artist, Dave DuPont.
Yep.
Because he was playing at the GHS booth a couple years back at NAMM. He and I were talking because I looked at his cables. Like, oh, those are really cool. He's like, yeah, for my buddy Keith. They're Tsunami. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, I've been using these other high quality cables, but I'm having some issues in that they wouldn't stick in the. I'd shove that thing in the
man.
jack and it just wouldn't stick there.
Yeah.
It was like
Not
this,
good.
folks, to go like this and then just pop right out. So you have to push it back in and pop it out.
You need to get closer to the
Just
camera.
pop it back in.
Wait,
Right. But legitimately, that's what was
kids in a
happening.
butt rub.
So I'd be playing these high quality cables
Yeah.
and they would be popping out. So your signal dies. That's not good for a musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Here that doesn't
so
work.
Keith stopped by because you were just walking the floor.
Yeah.
We were talking and stuff, and you were really cool. Just being, you know what? I tell you what I'll do. I'll send you one to loan to try out. If it works for you, then pay me for it. And I was like, well, I'm not doing that. But I will pay you for one. Let's just, so I can buy just what I want right off
Sure.
the bat.
Right.
So I did that, and it worked great. And from there, I called him up. I'm like, hey, how do we take this forward? I mean, that's
Yeah.
really the biggest thing because it was that whole thing of like, look, if this works for you, great.
Yeah.
If not,
Yeah.
that's okay too.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and because you had a very specific issue. Like,
Right.
That was really what it was. It's like you're like, well, this is the problem. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's this one thing. And to be honest, I'm going, well, I don't know if my cable will fix that problem.
Right,
Let's
exactly.
try it and see if it'll work. And
Yeah.
it did. So
Yeah.
that was the cool thing about it. But yeah, absolutely. So so that's how we hooked up.
Right.
Was through that, and then Tony, you and I hooked up through Damien. What was it? Or was it Damien or was it
Damien Erskine
yeah.
recommendation.
Okay. All right.
And I didn't really even know him all that well.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it was just he brought it up about
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
the quality
Nice.
of the company.
Gotcha.
And I was very direct. I call up Keith. I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, listen, I play all the time.
Yeah.
This is what I do. And I was very
It sounded
Boston.
just like that.
Right,
Too.
right.
You're like
It's like
Tony
barking at my phone. Yeah.
Oh, was that
Puleo.
barking? But I was like, hey, I'm going to do a big order, and if I'm jumping in, I'm going to jump on
Nice.
strong.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like I was like, no bullshit. Like here
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And I think I had the biggest order at the time. Like
Nice. Yeah.
I said, like I need a full set here, a full set home, and here's my
Yeah.
pedal board,
Yeah.
and I'll be doing more later.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
all right,
Do
you
it.
know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I'm like, charge whatever you charge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is always
like,
nice.
Yeah. Like, I just if we're gonna, I said I'm gonna work with this guy, then
Right.
Right.
dictate it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Sweet.
mean? And
Yeah.
that's cool.
And then you met John through. Was it through
I
us?
John
or
through
who?
I was
What's
trying to remember
funny-
how.
Yeah.
social media. at
Yeah.
first. And
Probably.
so I remember when I first met John. Actually, when I first physically met John,
Okay.
it
You're
was
like, I thought he'd be taller.
So we knew of each other. I think
Yeah.
through online, like because their reputations grow.
Right.
And he was at the Mike Lowell booth at NAMM. I just came over and I threw my arms around him. I was like, hey man, he was kneeling
That's
down.
right.
And I
That's
threw my arms around
That's
John.
right.
Like, hey dude. And I went,
Who the hell is this gorilla on?
I know. I was like, I'm getting attacked by a grizzly. Oh my god, how'd they get that in here?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, and I didn't squeeze him to death or whatever, but I threw my arm like, hey man, how you doing? And I said, I'll catch you back and I'll see
Right.
you a little bit later. No.
Yeah.
You know? That was it.
Yeah.
And then Steve, you and I hooked up through. Was it through Tony?
I think through Tony.
I think it was through
Yeah.
Tony. I think so.
And I
Yeah.
came out here, met you, got
Yeah.
the cable. I was like,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I talked about
Yeah.
Tsunami and
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think I'd heard of you before too, like
Gotcha.
somewhere. I was
Right.
like, oh yeah, I've
how
heard of
can
you.
you not?
Like,
Yeah.
right over the hill, you know. I
Well,
go,
thank you.
yeah.
And then I found out about Steve through the 76?
Craigslist want ads or.
Right.
Missed opportunities.
Tony swiped right.
Yeah.
It was missed opportunities. You were at the vegetable counter. squash and peaches were in your
had a nice
basket.
scarf.
Oh my god.
And somehow
a large eggplant appeared.
I was worried it was too
So
ripe.
bad, so bad.
I was worried it was too ripe, and I missed you.
Oh,
And it was missed opportunities. Yeah.
I love it. This is so good.
No, it was my first. It was that
jazz bass
that
video.
jazz bass.
70s
If I
jazz
could
bass.
look at this bass or something like that I just
It
reposted.
was you and Howard. I was
Uh,
like, oh my god, look, these guys are as geeky as me. They're
It was
ripping
like
apart the 76.
25 minutes of us just going, hey, we take this part and look at the serial. It's just being stupid. It was
Total, because I was
like all of us were just geeks,
70s
man.
jazz. At that time, I had a big 70s jazz
Yeah.
bass fanatic thing, and then these guys were like into it, and I was like, I literally had coffee and sat there. I was like, it's like, well, I feel like I'm hanging out with dudes I know back home. You know?
I get a lot of hate mail from that one. It's
Do
awesome.
you?
No, yeah, I get a lot of love and hate. Let's
Wow.
say it's just YouTube hate, man.
Yeah.
Fuck,
It's awesome.
Them.
Yeah.
A lot of people do, yeah. And then John, I mean, literally, this is most interaction we've had, but we've
Right.
met a couple of times.
Yeah.
And social media, obviously. So,
Right,
yeah,
right.
it's rad, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, respect. It's cool. And then, yeah.
Yeah,
and
we
then-
met at NAMM. We were like, hey,
Dude! Yeah, I think
yeah,
we were
total
just-
was it
yeah.
done. You know?
But I think it's like, even from the startings of the hangs to this, I mean, it's just this community is, I
Right.
couldn't be more thankful, man. It's
Mhm.
like, one of the best people that it's rad. It's awesome to be, I mean, I'm just like, wow.
You know, I want to give a shout
Yeah.
out to a friend that's not here. That I, through like heavy bass circles, people like to rank on talk bass, but Derek Ogden
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
is one of my closest friends.
A monster killer
And
player.
a fucking monster killer
Killer
player,
player.
killer artist. Everything he does is gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything he does is gold.
Love him.
I love that guy.
That's cool.
And
Shout out.
shout out to Derek Ogden. Derek,
I don't
love
know
you,
how you
brother.
I don't know how you do shout outs now.
You keep that up, somebody's gonna steal
No, this
second.
is pedal touring. Like, no, you can't.
Yeah, it's like,
You know,
Right.
Yes.
You may have half a one. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah.
That's great. I got a gain knob, motherfucker. So and that's through talk bass.
Yeah.
So people like to rag on talk bass,
I don't
and then I know a lot
I
of
stay away.
but yeah, and I can understand
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting better. And I actually just got some shit on there because I said, a lot of professionals kind of look down on this because of the
Oh, yeah.
negativity on it.
Uh huh.
All right, so I said that online. Here's professionals in the community, and they'll all say the same motherfucking thing I am.
Go play some
Yeah.
gigs. Get off talk bass. Go
I mean,
play
you know,
some
and,
gigs.
and for
Right.
me, it's a double-edged sword because I'm on there
Yeah.
as a representative for the company.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time, yeah, there is just some stuff you just shake your head at.
Like, hey, let's make fun of this Craigslist ad. Like, you know
Right.
what, man? There was a thing that just happened recently, and like, people were being critical, and people looking for a bass player, and they put videos up on the Craigslist. And you know
Yeah.
what? The actual band wasn't that bad.
Right.
They really weren't that bad, and people went to town. And I think I was the first guy to say, you guys should grow up.
Yeah.
And then maybe I was a little hard, and even people said, hey, well, listen, some of this is constructive criticism, and some of it was not.
Right.
So, I think that there's hope in gold because there's over 100,000 registered users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, what they do is incredible. I mean, I've nothing
Yeah.
but respect.
Right.
It's an amazing community. I just kind
I
of
stay on there as a gold supporting member and support, and I get emails from there every day.
Yeah.
Every day with questions.
Yeah.
So,
no. It's a
and
great.
people
I
get-
mean,
yeah.
to actually have a forum that big for bass players, that's pretty
Oh,
rad.
yeah.
That's pretty rad. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. And that you can go talk to you and you and you. I mean, that's
I mean, we
pretty
can
cool,
even,
man.
my boss and I have talked about this too because
Mhm.
since I started at GHS in 2013,
Mhm.
and I'd been on Talk Bass for years prior, so
Sure.
I think my account says it's like been around since 2005
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. But so I had at least that cred going in that I was a player first. But you
Sure.
can track our sales trajectory for
Uh-huh.
bass strings just from when I started, and I attribute a lot of that to just
awesome.
being on there and answering questions.
That's great.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's it. I mean, most of it is I get questions. I
Yep.
get asked about
Education,
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get asked about from your cables to
Yeah.
progressives,
Yeah.
And I get progressives versus like these other strings. and
Right.
I give like an honest aspect of this is what they are.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's a tool, it's a resource, and
Yeah.
I take the more positive out of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nothing's perfect.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, as soon as stuff like that gets negative, I'm just like, just change it.
Exactly.
I spoke up for
Change
the
it.
first time the other day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was mostly good, but I got some slap back.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're bound to. Anytime you step down, make a stand, you're going
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
That's
Nowadays, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, can you guys think of anything else that we should talk about? Or as far as in this forum or idea, you need more coffee?
Need more coffee?
Need more coffee?
Oh man,
All right.
empty. All
Yeah,
right.
check it out.
Next thing is Tony's going to get a Starbucks endorsement.
And we're gonna
Pete's
track
or
the progress.
Starbucks?
Right.
Pete's,
We're gonna
Starbucks. Which
start
one?
the progress and chart it.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the start right here.
That's
We'll see how
awesome.
it
Yeah,
goes.
Nice.
They'll have the
Yeah.
scarves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Scoffs.
and
The
scoffs.
scoffs
Scoffs.
and Starbucks.
Scoffs.
The girl at Starbucks today is like, "Where you from? What's your accent? You know, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh, jeez."
Are you ready for this? Just give me my coffee.
Yeah.
Give me some coffee now.
I was rolling my
Boston.
eyes. I'm like, "Polite. Oh, thanks in Boston." Blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Steve, you ready? Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ready? Let's get the hell out of here.
That's it.
All right, well, real quick. Obviously, Tsunami Cable is where you can find me and anything about that. You can, all social media stuff.
Yep.
John?
Yeah, you can find all the GHS stuff at ghsstrings.com and all that. My personal stuff is justmoody.com, or all the stuff on Instagram, Facebook, and stuff is under Monjudy.
I love it. I love it, Mon Judy. Tony?
We're getting a new website back up. Actually, I've owned the domain basewave.com for a long time.
Oh, right.
BASSWAVE.com. But you can Tony Puleo. You can search me, and I come right up on Facebook or Instagram. Tony Puleo 1, and I'm on there. So
Cool.
send a shout out, give me a like, do whatever, connect.
Yeah.
I'll write back,
I like it.
Yeah.
and you.
I'm giving a like.
A thumbs
Oh,
up.
nice.
Double tap.
Double
That's
tap.
not how
tap.
this works.
Yes.
That's not how
I
any of
thought that's what
works.
this
That's
worked.
life, yeah.
Hey, those are. This is real.
Yeah.
This is real. I'm giving a thumbs up.
Go walk
Come on, all
somewhere.
you guys.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Walk somewhere so I can follow you, right?
My YouTube videos.
And you?
This is the YouTube videos.
Yep. Like,
Really?
aw.
Really?
But your site, come on.
No, thebasehang.com. Steve Araujo. Yeah, but thebasehang.com. There you go.
Anyway, you're gonna find Tony's corner on the basehang.com.
Yeah, man.
Ooh.
We start doing
Yeah,
that.
That'd be
yeah.
cool.
I'm gonna be adding a little contributions.
Yeah, it'll be rad.
Awesome.
Yeah, excited. So.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you,
you.
guys.
Appreciate you very much, Keith.
I love it.
Awesome,
I will.
everybody.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.